Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you never miss any video lessons from Rouse IS Study Circle. Join the official Telegram channel of Rouse IS Study Circle to stay updated and get all the materials on Telegram. The link to the channel can be found in the description box. Hello and welcome to Daily Prelims Practice. Here we take up MCQs based on important articles and news from the Hindu and the Indian Express newspaper. Topics which we are going to cover today are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion. Now, our first question is based on this news article from the Hindu newspaper. This article is about Mathura Vrindavan, which is one of the India's largest pilgrimage centers, aims to become a net zero carbon emission. Now, as you know, that Mathura is famous for the style of ancient Buddhist sculpture called Mathura art. Further, from Indian heritage and culture, there is a subsection of sculpture, and from that, Buddhist sculpture is one of the recurring theme for UPSC prelims examination. Like in year 2019, question came on the features of Mahanaya Buddhism. Now let's come to the practice question. Here, you have to identify the correct statements with respect to features of Mathura school of Buddhist sculpture tradition. Now the first one is, Buddha is in spiritual state with eyes half closed and large ears and seated like a yogi. Now this statement is incorrect because this is a feature of Gandhara art in which Buddha is in spiritual state with eyes half closed and large ears and seated like a yogi. And if you can see, in Mathura art, he was depicted with a round smiley face. Now let's come to the second statement. Beard or mustache are not found on Buddha. Now this statement is correct with respect to Mathura art. This is another important feature of Gandhara art. Now let's come to the third statement. Sculptures are mainly made up of using bluish grey sandstone and stucco. Now this statement is incorrect as Mathura art was made up of white spotted red stones and Gandhara art was made up of bluish grey sandstone and stucco. Now as you can see, only second statement is correct. So our correct answer is option A, 2 only. Now before answering the previous year question, let us see few important characteristics of Mathura school of Buddhist sculpture tradition. The first one is that it was wholly influenced by Indian sculpture. That means that these were not influenced by Greco-Roman. Now from image you can see Buddha seated gracefully in Padmasana, that is cross-folded legs, with a shaven head, the Ushnisha, that is the protuberance on top of the head indicated by a tired spiral. Here you can see a round smiley face with no beard or mustache. The right arm raised in Abhaya Mudra, that is gesture of reassurance, the left arm resting on the thigh, showing masculinity. The drapery closely molding the body and arranged in fold over the left arm, leaving the right shoulder bare. Also the presence of lion throne rather than the lotus throne. Now answer of previous year question is option D. Now the next question is based on this article from the Indian Express which featured on page number 12. Now this article is about international jurisprudence with respect to the use of nuclear weapons. So from here, the key takeaway for your prelims examination is to remember facts related to international institutions related to nuclear weapons, chemical and biological weapons, missiles and conventional arms. This is also important as UPSC has been asking questions based on important institutions like Nuclear Suppliers Group. And this question came in year 2018. Now let's come to the practice question. Question is, India is a member of which of the following multilateral export control regimes? First one is Wassenaar Arrangement, second Nuclear Supplier Group, third Australia Group and fourth one is Missile Technology Control Regime. Now the first one, Wassenaar Arrangement, was basically established to promote transparency and greater responsibility in terms of conventional arms and dual-use goods and technologies. Another important fact is that India joined this arrangement in year 2017 and it became its 42nd member. Now next is Nuclear Supplier Group. This is basically to prevent nuclear proliferation by controlling the export of materials, equipment and technology that can be used to manufacture nuclear weapons. Now as you know, India is not a member of this group as its membership efforts have been blocked by a group of countries including our neighbor China on the pretext that India is non-signatory to Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, that is NPT. Now third is Australia Group. This group basically helped member countries to identify those exports which need to be controlled so as not to contribute to the spread of chemical and biological weapons. So India entered this group in year 2018 as its 43rd member. Now the last one is Missile Technology Control Regime. Now this is an informal political understanding among 35 member states that seek to limit the proliferation of missiles and missile technology. India is the latest entrant into this group, joining it in 2016 as its 35th member. So, from above given options, India is not part of only one group, that is nuclear supplier group. So, our answer of this question is option B, that is 1, 3 and 4. Now, answer of this previous year question is option A, that is 1 only. Now, our next question based on this article from the Indian Express. And this article is about Article 155 and Article 156, and these articles are related to the appointment and removal of the governor. Now, this is a news because of Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan, who is locked up in a standoff with the elected government on a range of issues, including appointments to the state-run Kerala University or threatening to sack ministers who lowered the dignity of his office. Now, as you know, under polity, there is a subsection of functions and responsibilities of the union and the states. And from that, role of governor is one of the important theme and recurring theme also, because in year 2014 there was a question based on the discretionary powers given to the governor of a state. Now let's come to the practice question. Here you have to identify the correct statements with respect to governor. The first one is governor is appointed by the president and holds office during the pleasure of the president. Now this statement is correct as he is appointed by the president by warrant under his hand and seal. Like president, he is also nominal executive head. That means he is constitutional head, or you can see chief executive head of the state. Another important fact you should know that governor holds office for a term of 5 years, and this term of 5 years is subject to pleasure of the president. Further, he can resign at any time by addressing a resignation to the president. But the Supreme Court held that the pleasure of the president is not justifiable. The governor has no security of tenure and no fixed term of office. He may be removed by the president at any time. So this statement is correct, that governor is appointed by the president and hold office during the pleasure of the president. Now let's come to the second statement. The constitution lays down the provision upon which a governor may be removed by the president. Now this statement is incorrect as constitution does not lay any ground upon which a governor may be removed by the president. No criminal proceedings shall be instituted against the governor of a state in any court during his term of office. Now this statement is correct. As like the president, the governor is also entitled to a number of privileges and immunities. He enjoys personal immunity from legal liability for his official acts. During his term of office, he is immune from any criminal proceedings even in respect of his personal acts. So here only statement 2 is incorrect. So our correct answer is option C, that is 1 and 3 only. Now answer of this PYQ is option B, that is 1 and 3 only. Now our next question is based on this article from the Hindu newspaper. This news is related to Supreme Court's verdict on Employees Pension Amendment Scheme 2014. Here the Supreme Court used its extraordinary powers under Article 142 of the Constitution. Now before taking up the practice question, if you look at the previous year question papers, UPSC has generally asked questions related to Supreme Court. In the prelims 2019, there was a question based on Article 142. Now let's come to the practice question. Here you have to find out the correct statements with respect to Article 142. Now the first statement is, it deals with Supreme Court's power to exercise its jurisdiction and pass order for doing complete justice in any case or matter pending before it. Now this statement is correct as Article 142 deals with Supreme Court's power to exercise its jurisdiction and pass order for doing complete justice in any case or matter pending before it. Basically, it provides the apex court with a special and extraordinary power and is meant to provide justice to litigants who have suffered illegality or injustice in course of legal proceedings. Now the second statement is, in Supreme Court, Bar Association versus Union of India 1998, it was decided that this article can be used to override the existing law. Now, this statement is incorrect, as in this case, it was decided that this article cannot be used to override the existing law but only to supplement the law and can be invoked for procedure purposes only. Now, here only one statement is correct. So, our answer is option A, one only. Now, answer of this P by Q is option B. Now, the next question is based on this article from the Indian Express. And this article is about the most diverse rainforest of the world, that is Amazon forest. Now, as you know, that under World Geography, World Climatic Region is one of the important themes for UPSC prelims examination. And there was a question based on the characteristics of the climatic region in year 2014. Now, let's come to the practice question. Here, you have to find out which of the following climate type is the best representative of above description. And that is, the climate is characterized by hot dry summer and mild rainy winter due to influence of subtropical high in summer and westerly wind in winter. The first option is monsoon. Now, as you know, monsoon is seasonal reversal of wind. With this, you can answer this previous year question also. Here, the correct answer would be monsoon climate. So now let's come back to the practice question. Now, as you know that monsoon is a seasonal reversal of wind and its basic characteristic is heavy rainfall occurs mostly in summer. But in above description, it's hot dry summer. So this can't be our option. So this is an incorrect option. Now the next is savanna. Basically, this is tropical wet and dry climate. This has alternate wet and dry season similar to monsoon climate, but has considerably less annual rainfall. So there is no distinct rainy season like in monsoon climate. So again, this can't be our answer. So this is incorrect option. Now next is humid subtropical. In this region, the air masses are generally unstable and cause rainfall throughout the year. So again, this can't be our answer because here rainfall is throughout the year. Another important characteristic of this particular climate type is that they are mostly on the eastern coast of continents. For example, they occur in eastern United States of America, China, etc. Now the last is Mediterranean. Now obviously this is our correct answer, but the reason behind this is, as the name suggests, Mediterranean climate occurs around Mediterranean Sea, along the west coasts of continents in subtropical latitudes between 30 to 40. For example, in places like Central California, along the coast in southeastern and southwestern Australia. These areas come under the influence of subtropical high in summer and westerly wind in winters. Hence, the climate is characterized by hot dry summer and mild rainy winter. So, this is the best representative of above description. So, our correct answer is option D, that is Mediterranean. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more such updates.